Presumed guilty. With the verdicts in on the Kyle Rittenhouse case in Kenosha, it's important to remember the facts and the actual video footage of what happened in the days of rioting and arson before Kyle Rittenhouse arrived in Kenosha to defend his father's town. Presidential candidate Joe Biden did his best to conflate specific local cases of crime with a national problem where he could blame the police and sweep into office. Listen to Joe Biden.
What I saw in that video makes me sick. Once again, a black man, Jacob Blake, has been shot by the police in broad daylight with the whole world watching.
Joe Biden is an idiot. Jacob Blake admits he had a knife when he was shot by police. Blake said, at the time, "I wasn't thinking clearly." Well, he was thinking more clearly than Joe Biden, who wanted to see more violence, more unrest, more racial division, so that he could sweep into office, which is precisely what happened. Protesters gathered outside of the courthouse. They were not awaiting the verdict. They were attempting to influence the verdict into a choice that they preferred. Let's listen in on some of their comments.
Everyone is here to bring awareness to what happened that is wrong.
Anthony and JoJo! Anthony and JoJo! They're going after our children! Yes! Don't you understand yet? These are globalists who want to destroy our country!
We know that Rittenhouse did not come here with a fully loaded, illegally possessed AR-15 to protect some youth.
President Joe Biden made attacking legal ownership of the AR-15 centerpiece to his presidential campaign. Biden shushes the female aide who works for him. What a sexist. Here a lone union worker dares to stand up to Joe Biden on his desire to ban legal firearms. Do you know why we need to have legal firearms under the Second Amendment? It's to defend ourselves from Democrat looters, Democrat arsonists, and Democrat violence, precisely as what happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and precisely as Kyle Rittenhouse did. Biden doesn't know what an AR-15 is, but his supporters do. Let's listen a little more. Now this is a great sign. BLM and Antifa are here to intimidate. It was in fact BLM and Antifa who were committing illegal crimes in Kenosha before Kyle Rittenhouse ever arrived. I want to show you two videos. One is MSNBC, Reframing Reality, editing reality and what happened in the courtroom. Now remember, they're treating something that is aired live and unedited for all to see. For the entire course of this trial, MSNBC is not showing you the live footage coming from the courtroom itself, with live audio coming from the courtroom itself. MSNBC has to redefine and adjust reality to fit the narrative that they want to present.
And breaking news in the Kyle Rittenhouse homicide trial, one of the charges has been dropped. Let's go to Gabe Gutierrez outside the courthouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Gabe, what exactly was dropped?
Hi there, Jose. Well, this is extremely controversial. This is the sixth count, the gun possession by a minor charge. The judge just dismissed that count.
Now you can see how the reporter is framing this as if this trial is being conducted in secret, with no microphones, no live television, that he has to report the reality of what's going on in the courtroom.
And the reason being is that there was a discussion happening as the defense and the prosecution were waiting to go into jury instructions. The defense was arguing that the state statute here in Wisconsin makes it illegal for minors to carry a handgun or a short-barreled shotgun or rifle. The statute apparently is written to allow teenagers to go hunting with rifles and shotguns. So there was a debate on the barrel length, and the prosecution acknowledged that the barrel length of this rifle was more than 16 inches. And so the prosecution was arguing, okay, fine, we're haggling about the details of this law, but put it before the jury, let the jury decide. The judge just a few moments ago came out and said, no, he dismissed the charge. So Kyle Rittenhouse will now face 5 counts, no longer 6. The judge dismissing the 6th charge, which was a misdemeanor, but some legal analysts had argued that, there was a strong case against him. There was no dispute. He was underage. He was 17 when he had this rifle. But again, based on the length of the rifle, apparently, the judge has just dismissed that 6th count against Kyle Rittenhouse.
Now, everything you heard there from that reporter at the Kenosha Courthouse was a lie. He fabricated everything he said. And the reason he had to fabricate this news is that for people that were not watching MSNBC, they watched the exchange between the prosecution and the judge. The judge did not make up law willy-nilly, as MSNBC just reported. The judge, citing existing Wisconsin law, brought it to the attention of the prosecution and said, your charge is not in line with law. Watch this reality going on here. This was live.
Barrel length is less than 16 inches, or an overall length less than 26 inches, then I'll deny the motion. If it does not meet those specifications, then this defense motion will be granted.
We are not disputing that the barrel length is appropriate.
Isn't legal?
It is not a short-barreled shotgun or a short-barreled rifle, yes.
Either by barrel or by overall length?
Correct.
All right.
Okay, so it just took 30 seconds to confirm that MSNBC lied to their audience. They made it seem like the crazy, whacked-out judge made a lunatic ruling completely at odds with all legal precedent just because he's a big meanie, and therefore we can't trust any of the way he's going to finish the trial. That's the narrative of MSNBC. Why is MSNBC pushing that narrative? Because MSNBC's own legal experts were telling them, hey, they don't have a case here, let's just demagogue the judge. MSNBC was following the jury bus, taking photographs in order to intimidate the jurors into changing their verdict. You can see here, MSNBC, first they are fabricating the news, lying to MSNBC viewers about a weapons charge being dismissed. The judge didn't make anything up. He reminded the prosecution that they were attempting to charge. Look at Kyle Rittenhouse's lawyer seated immediately next to him. His face says it all right there. The prosecution was charging Kyle Rittenhouse with breaking the law on something that had no law. They made up a law to charge him with. And the judge is like, you are aware that Kyle Rittenhouse was perfectly legal in carrying around an AR-15 and firing it in self-defense. So, part 3, I wanted to show actual footage of what a non-racist Kyle Rittenhouse is. Now you can see here it's a very diverse mob of looters, arsonists, people bent on committing violence. Here's a young man who created a weapon out of a shovel of some kind. These are people intent on violence against anyone who dares interfere with their looting, destruction of private property, and arson. Now here's what I wanted to show you. This is a black-owned business. It's in fact, it looks like it says it's a community church. There it is. Community church, Black Lives Matter. And what is the mob doing? They're burning down the cars in this car lot. So this is a black-owned business. They see it as their job to destroy black-owned businesses in a poor section of town, because this is how they express themselves. You notice there's no giant trial for the hundreds of Democrat rioters, arsonists, and protesters who were committing violence against other people and property. Why weren't they put on trial? Because they did not fit the narrative as presented by Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, and big media controlled by the Democratic Party. There is an agenda here, and it doesn't matter how many towns are burned, destroyed, and completely ruined. If your goal is to achieve political ends that benefit the Democratic Party, what does this have to do with justice for Jacob Blake? Jacob Blake was a clear criminal. So the reason for all of this was a complete lie. And Joe Biden spread that lie as a presidential candidate, and he probably has no idea as president that the person who started all of the Kenosha unrest was a clear criminal. Why was this good, natural, and approved by the entire American left? Why did the entire corporate news media say this conduct was becoming of a democracy? Why did the Democratic Party and the elites that rule our country say this was okay, but a young man showing up to help others was not? Arson and crime in the name of progressive leftist social Marxism is considered acceptable behavior. This is considered wonderful behavior. This is the change that we voted for with Joe Biden's call for unity to bring our country together. So I thought this footage here was important. Kyle Rittenhouse has not had to use lethal force to defend himself yet. Watch him walk around hundreds of African Americans. He is not pointing his weapon at any African American. He is not threatening any African American. One of the members of ABC's The View stated that she had heard Kyle Rittenhouse simply pointed his weapon into a crowd and started shooting random people. When confronted on this claim, she said, "Oh, I was told that." And this is how the news media convicted Kyle Rittenhouse before the trial. Do you see him showing up to murder African Americans, to halt a protest in favor of BLM, Black Lives Matter? No. Why is it that the people there in support of Black Lives Matter are the ones burning down Kenosha? Kyle Rittenhouse committed no crime. Defending oneself from being murdered is not a crime. And as you can see here, his conduct was entirely peaceful. Imagine if none of this footage existed. We would only have Kyle's word that he defended himself. The news media, with the assistance of President Joseph R. Biden, committed the crime here. And they still commit the crime because channels like MSNBC, they want to see violence as a result of this verdict. MSNBC wants the ratings that come with filming new arson, new rioting, new violence against the innocent. MSNBC is deliberately stoking racial division in this country because the Democratic Party told them that this is the way to power. As the Democratic Party looks for any means to expand their power, the people who pay the price are the innocent citizens of the United States. We are considered the villains when we are the victims of the policies of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party wants to divide America to expand their power and to expand the money that comes with that power. These people do not respect our system of government, the rule of law, and it's these people currently throwing the book at the January 6th insurrectionists. So bear that in mind the next time you see someone convicted for entering the Senate building on January 6, 2021. The people prosecuting their political enemies are not interested in justice. They want to see what they can get as a matter of power over the public out of these things. They do not care who they destroy in their quest for power. Thank you.